There has been a startling increase in the number of women who are the perpetrators of domestic violence. The New South Wales Bureau of Crime Statistics show that over the past 8 years, the number of women charged with domestic abuse has rocketed by 159%.
I'm a personal victim of domestic violence in that, I was beaten by my partner with electrical cords and fry pans and pots and pans, had a knife held to my throat. But most of all, that physical injury wasn't as bad as the mental anguish or the psychological damage in being called not a man or a coward for hours on end because I didn't hit back.
I have separated with my children's mum after 7 years of marriage, and it was on amicable terms. We both agreed to it, and I supported her in the breakup, and she had the kids, and I visited. During that 7 years, things deteriorated where I didn't seem to be getting the same benefits as it was at the start, until it got to a point where I was being taken advantage of, obviously. Because of my personality, I sort of let it go and still didn't approach any system of court. It's 14 years and went into a new relationship. To summarise the relationship real quickly, first of all, that went for 2.5 years. It ended very badly. I'd noticed she'd get depressed a lot. It'd be like night and day. You're sort of stuck in this circle of it's going to be okay, it won't happen again next week. And that's when I sort of realised that she was excessively drinking. And then the next thing you know, she's right up in my face, eyes in my eyes, frothing at the mouth, yelling, swearing. And then that would happen a few more times. And then the next thing, there's a knife in her hand. And I'd be like, I'm gonna step over there, put the knife down, calm down. Then I started thinking about my kids, and everything sort of happened real fast at the end. I was attacked by her physically about 4 times. The second last incident, she went out partying with her girlfriends. I didn't really want to go. I was tired after work. You go out, have fun. She's like, I'll catch a cab home. And I get a text message at 3:30 in the morning saying, come pick me up. And I text, no, you just get in a cab, sweetie. Half an hour later, she arrives. She came in a cab, drunk, and she tore the place apart. She smashed all my guitars on the walls. This is in an apartment. It's dead quiet. All the neighbours in the street, the whole apartment can hear. It's dead quiet. She was yelling and swearing at the top of her voice, and she was destroying the whole house. And then she attacks me physically. She actually comes right at me with her nails. She claws my neck. She spits on me. She claws because I had no shirt on. She claws my chest and my back. And I'm just trying like this. Just calm down. What are you doing? Are you crazy? Like self-defense, just hands up. But she was getting to me. So what I did, I grabbed her, put her in the room and pushed her on the bed, closed the door, and I wouldn't let her out. And I was like, calm down, calm down. You've scratched me, I'm bleeding. I was letting her know what she did. Just go to sleep, lie down, go to sleep. The police arrived, they saw me, I explained what happened. They spoke to her separately. So she was already still intoxicated and crying. We had a court case a month or so down the track in the city. And through that month, I was obviously making up. As you do in a relationship, you talk about things. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. And I said to her, please don't ever do that again, because I've just taken this ADO off. What you've done serious. Don't do things like that in front of the children. Nothing has happened in front of the children to this point. Then an incident happened with her soon after, maybe 3 weeks later, with my kids there. So she came home tired. We were almost wrapping up the movie. My son was lying on top of me on the floor. We were just relaxed, having a great time. And like a hurricane out of the bedroom, a tornado, boom, she comes flying through, screaming, why aren't the children put to bed? You don't spend time with me, all this kind of stuff. And then she stood right on top of me and my son. And after all that's happened, I just wanted to protect my boy. And my instinct just kicked in. And I got up, put my son to the side because she was right there. I didn't know what she was going to do. I grabbed her and I pushed her against the television and said, get away, like this. And then she grabbed the glass and glassed me in front of the children because the glass was right there. And I got cut up all across here. And as soon as that happened, I let go. I just grabbed the kids and I grabbed them both and they were terrified. I grabbed them, locked them in their room, said, kids, and I had blood all over my face. They saw that, my kids were screaming. It was horrible. Got a towel, put it on my head and called the police. My children crying in their room. I just needed my kids out of the house safely, so I called my family to pick them up, called the police and the ambulance. Finally, everyone turned up and I just said, take the kids, don't ask questions, just get them out of here, it's not safe. That's the last I saw of my children for a year and a half. The police came, luckily enough it was the same, exactly the same police. They just arrested her instantly and took her away. She was out of there, so she was gone, all the stuff was out of the house.
The rate of men reporting current partner violence since the age of 15 almost doubled, a rise of 175% since 2005. An estimated 119,600 men reported such violence in 2012.
One of the most shocking things I found when I was doing the research into the lives of men behind the stereotypes that we have is that men are also victims of domestic violence. And we're not just talking about the odd man here, we are talking about many, many men. The moment I found out, I had all these people in my life, women in my life, who had stories. It was happening to their sons, it was happening to brothers, it was happening to uncles. And as I got deeper into it, I was shocked, you know, because the first reaction is, how can this happen to a bloke? You know, most blokes are stronger than women. Why can't they just defend themselves? But if you love somebody and you're not a violent person, you're not going to necessarily strike back until it gets to that point where you have to defend yourself. And so what I found was we had men who were being poisoned, who were having glass ground up and put in their food, furniture smashed, waiting till they were asleep at night and then attacking them with all sorts of objects. And it's horrendous. And what's interesting is when you speak out about this, or even broach the subject, is that people actually get very aggressive about it. And in standing up for this, I've actually had hate mail, you know, against me and threats and so forth.
Men coming that were claiming to be victims of domestic violence and not being able to find support through the traditional service providers that are predominantly set up to look after women who are predominantly the victims of domestic violence. But there is an upsurge in male victims now coming forward, and we're not prepared for that. In the service industry, we're not prepared to look after them, we're not prepared to support them because we don't have the infrastructure or the financial support. So it kind of, you know, leaves men with nowhere to go.
Yeah, no, I'll try and see you on Thursday and then get the...
What do I do what?
Keep doing it, they're annoying.
What?
Too fucking tough. Come here.
Get your hand off me.
Come here.
What?
Where were you?
I'm not talking to you about this. I'm not talking to you about this. Get your hand off me.
Who was there?
Get your hand off me.
Who was there? Tell me who was there.
People are looking at us.
I swear to God, Chris, I swear to God.
People are looking at us. Will you get your hand off me? Stop there. People are looking at us. What's wrong with you?
Honestly, we're fine.
I'm grand, thanks.
Okay, can someone will call the police if you carry on doing that to someone?
Okay.
'Cause if I don't, someone else will.
Okay. It's perfectly fine.
You don't have to put up with that, honey.
Okay.
Either way.
Thanhy.
My office is there, you're definitely all right?
Yeah, I am.
Problems just come knock.
I'm grand, thanks. What do I do what? Do you ever listen to me?
Chrissy, stop that. Just, you're crazy,
fucking
man.
manic. I've been talking at you for the last 10 minutes and you haven't listened. You haven't gotten into fucking what I've been saying to you. But you're fucking not even listening to me, that's what. Why do I push you like that? Because you won't fucking respond to me about any, you won't listen to me. You think you're fucking all manly.
I wasn't.
No, you can't be. No, you can't be. Don't try and fucking walk away. Stop. Listen to me when I'm talking. Don't try and fucking walk away from me. Stop it. What the fucking bullshit? What is fucking bullshit?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
What the fuck's wrong with me? There's nothing. Don't give me that shit, okay? Pathetic. You're so fucking pathetic.
The vast majority of perpetrators of dating and partner violence against men were female. Only 6 or 7% of incidents involved same-sex violence. Men were less than half as likely as women to have told anybody about partner violence, to have sought advice or support, or to have contacted the police.
So back in the 60s, my dad was abused by my mother, a victim of domestic violence, if you want to call it that. I can remember her hitting him over the head with a lemon juice bottle from the shop and smashing the bottle over his head and flattening the bottle. She hit him with such force. She hit him over the head with a biscuit tray. For whatever reason, who knows? Look, people still don't believe that men are victims of that sort of thing. So who the heck would believe him 30 years ago? No one. I even see a lot of men would go, "Oh, grow a set, mate. What's your problem?" Well, the problem is they're too gentlemanly to fight back, because the minute they do bash back, they're the perpetrators anyway instead of the victim. They then hide the fact that something is wrong. And I think you've also got to look at the fact of not just violence, but mental abuse. Don't give up hope that something can be done about it, that we can make people realise that men do get abused, that we need to set up some sort of forum, or there's always that support for women. We need to set up the same support networks for men so that they're not frowned upon and told to grow a set because they're saying, "Oh, somebody hit me." Well, yeah, okay. We really need to set up that sort of support network and forum for men.
For the next month and a half since the event, I was texting, trying to call my ex-wife. "Please let me explain what's happened, how the kids." "No, give me 2 weeks." "Okay." "No, I need another week." And then a few days later was a letter in the mail from her solicitors. The letter was basically saying that who I am, which apparently in this letter was a violent and non-suitable father. Yeah, it was a horrible feeling reading that letter. I felt powerless, and that's when I decided, no, I'm going to take a stand for my rights as a father. And I've grown up my whole life in this country. My mum and dad separated. They had their troubles, and I've heard things and I've seen things where fathers have always been, in terms of courts and judicial systems and the government and police, have always been looked upon as the aggressors. Never done this before. Don't have money to do any of it, by the way. Looked at legal aid, went to legal aid for help. When I finally went into the office to meet with someone, it was a lady. And I had to tell the whole story like I'm doing right now. Everything that came out of her mouth was second guessing my statements and implying that I am a wife basher or I am the aggressive male. And I'm like, and I was gobsmacked. This is supposed to be an impartial person to help me. And I felt like the same letter that I was getting from her solicitor was coming straight at me again. And I actually felt helpless and on my own. And I actually said to her, women can be violent too. Women can bash men too. And what I've told you has happened to me and you're defending her. She was actually defending her. And I was like gobsmacked. And I actually had to leave the meeting. The whole process up to the final day of court took about a year or so. I was supported financially by friends and family, but more importantly by my new partner. I ended up having to sell all my personal belongings. Since that time, right till the last moment of court, she backed out of all the accusations she made of me for a year and a half, the horrible things she said, and agreed to all my conditions. That whole thing could have been left and obviously done at the start. But the thing that happened was the kids were traumatized for a year and a half. There's a lot of great men, there's a lot of great fathers out there that love their kids, and there's a lot of angry women that are flying under the radar with bad tempers that don't get addressed. It's a cop-out. It's too easy for women to say, he's the one. They don't realize that verbally and emotional manipulation and aggression is just as damaging in a relationship than a man fronting up as well.